motion, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
Back at it again with another shade of blue. We are the KC Soccer Journal. My name is Cody Bradley. A normal foursome is here. Thad Bell, David Greenwald, and Robert Russert. Gentlemen, it is good to be back in person like this. How's everyone feeling today?
Been a while since we've had all four of us in person.
It has been. It's been a long time.
I'm tingly. Cody should be tingly because the polar plunge he did earlier today.
I still feel the needles on my thigh a little bit. I did the polar plunge.
That was the worst place.
Well, the toes were not good because you have to wear shoes during this.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, you're just stepping in wet.
Have all the body parts come back out?
Yes, everything has emerged once again. Everything has feeling around it.
Do women know about shrinkage?
I lost my fantasy football league, so that is our punishment. We turned it into something good, raised some money for the Special Olympics. So
That's very good.
I'm glad that your terribleness at fantasy football at least has a positive outcome at the end.
Fantasy football is so stupid. It makes no sense. None of it makes any sense. I was the best team for all these years, and then all of a sudden. Anyway, I digress.
Wait, hold on. Should we get a fantasy MLS league for this upcoming season and with members of the KC Soccer Journal, with our community?
We try
Cheese Bro can get on here, but I would love to find other ways to punish you.
I know that you would.
That's the end game.
I know. That's kind of the idea of the show here. So, no, we always try that. The MLS fantasy, I always think this is the year I'm going to stick with this. And then 3 weeks in, I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
It's also, this is the year we're going to do video.
Yeah.
We're going to do
Right?
video, we're gonna do all kinds of
This is
things.
a year for a lot of things.
It's a year of growth.
But, gentlemen, there's actually Sporting KC soccer on the field and goals to talk about.
It's the second week in a row.
That one, there was a lot of other things.
This
to
is
talk about.
actual MLS competition. There you go. There you go, Cody. I'm helping you
We
out.
can make an attempt to move on a little bit. Yes, there you go. Good point. This was against Charlotte. So the kit leak happened today. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. We're going to talk about the current a little bit. But yeah, let's start off talking about actual soccer. David, what did you think of this first game against Charlotte?
From the tiny, tiny bit that I've been able to see.
From the gifts that we got.
Okay. Well, before we go into any actual analysis or thoughts about, the play itself, Charlotte has a dude named Tiger Smalls.
Yes, I love it.
That is so cool. What a great name for a professional athlete.
One of the top names in MLS this year.
And it's not spelled normal. It's not Tiger
Right.
like Tiger Woods. It's Tiger with a Y. Good for him.
Adding some Targaryen in there, I like it. It's
Good
great.
for him. He and Jalen Lindsay combined to help set up a goal for somebody else. That kind of...
Old friend Jalen Lindsay getting in the action, that didn't help.
Yeah. Given that Kayden Pierre's hamstrings don't seem to have come back, I do
Does
wish
he have hamstrings? Has anyone confirmed this?
Well, not anymore.
They're very tiny.
They're gone now, I think.
Very taut. I feel like, it would be nice if Jalen was still on the roster for, some competition at right back. That would have been kind of cool, as opposed to him hurting us in a preseason game.
What are you saying? We have good competition.
Yeah, we're
at that
trying to
position
put
now.
everybody at right back. That's Yeah. right. That's right.
They have 26 players competing for right back.
Well,
Well, that would have actually been last year. Right now, I think we have an incumbent starting right back who's pretty darn
Yeah.
good.
yeah. And
Not
I
only
don't
that,
want-
but there's a guy coming back from injury that is going to push him.
who
Kayden.
it's hard to do without him.
KP.
Is he? He's coming back from injury.
Well, I think.
Well,
Are we operating
to
under
be
the assumption
determined.
that he's
To be
retired?
determined.
I mean, come on.
well, no. He was out
that would
all.
suck.
He was out all year last year with a hamstring.
Twice. He was out twice. He came back.
He played how many games for SKC2?
Oh,
Like,
nothing. I mean, I don't know if he played, but he was coming back.
right. Well, and now, the season ended, and now we're in the preseason for the next year. And isn't he out again with a hamstring?
Well, right. I mean, I get
no,
being
no, not again. Still,
I get being annoyed by it. Like, yes, it's taking a long time. It's comedic at this point how long it is taking. But you're sitting at this table telling me you believe Jalen Lindsay, Kayden Pierre's never going to play another game?
I think you sussed out David's angle with the
I
comedic
really
angle.
I really thought
what
that
he's
was
going
going to
for
be
here.
an easy answer.
And he's succeeding.
Yeah, you remember this is not video, right? So the faces you were making doesn't really come across. I've been guilty of this many times, but I mean, I've been yelled at by Cody, I don't know how many times, for not speaking right away when he gave me an opening. And here you are, the professional speaker, the guy who does this for a job, and you can't just come up with a damn answer.
See, this is why I've been skipping shows lately, guys. Jeez. Good Lord.
That threw
welcome
in
back,
your
David.
career there. He shamed you on your
mean,
lawyering.
Probably, Cody.
I
am.
assumed he would have come back at some point last year. He's like 19 years old.
Now you sound like Peter. Oh, he's 15. He can just break anything. He can recover anytime. Well, you go there, dude.
I just assumed at some point he would have come back, and it's been a full calendar year of no Kayden Pierre.
Okay.
He came back and he injured another one or re-injured it or whatever. So they're being extra cautious right now.
Like, yeah,
He doesn't have his fitness completely.
Look, when we were talking about Pulido and Kinda, Thad, you kept saying, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
So I'm adopting a Thad Bell position. I will believe that Kayden Pierre is healthy and capable of competing at right back when he can prove that his hamstrings won't just detach from his body.
Okay, well then the threat of KP coming back is what is going to push Jake. So
I think Jake and I haven't talked, but I have a feeling Jake is also questioning Kayden Pierre's hamstrings.
I think Jake is pushing himself.
yeah,
Thank you.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I don't
Yes.
think he needs the motivation.
No, he doesn't. He needs to just go out there and learn the position, from the start of the season. But I commend you on your adopting the Thad Bell position on injuries. That's commendable, and I appreciate that. And I carry that through with the current and with Sporting.
There were 2 early goals, and they were set-piece goals, which is just one of those things with this team. We can't score on our own, and it seems like we give them up.
Yeah, I think in the Slack channel I was like, "Arr, yeah," and then
More of the
was
same.
like, well, only one was actually a set piece.
Yeah, one was Lindsay up to Tiger to Arfield, who scored. So that was I don't know if it started from a restart, but that was a pass shot.
But, the team's also missing Dany Rosero.
Right.
That one sucks.
Apparently there's a lot of MLS players that are not getting their green card visa stuff out of Bogota right now.
Why would that be the case? Something on the Bogota end, if it's specifically Colombian players?
Apparently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I do not know exactly why. I just been told it's a problem in Bogota. So if anybody wants to travel down and see if they can facilitate that, some lawyer or anything like that may be able to travel and help them out.
Not it.
I'm guessing it would probably take money, not actual legal expertise.
Still not it.
What else do we need to point out about this game, Thad?
Fortunately, the SKC2 players stepped up to.
Yeah.
They
Stepped Up to the Streets.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Never heard of it.
It's a dance movie.
It's the sequel to Step Up.
I used to date dancers.
What kind of dancers, Cody?
Like hip-hop
Ballerinas
dancers.
were my
I
favorite.
did. I have a thing for ballerinas for sure.
Okay, I did it too
was-
in college.
one of them was a
we have
very
something in
good-
common.
What podcast are we
One of them was a very good ballerina. I go to the ballet, guys. I have a lot of respect for the ballet.
One of mine called herself a linebacker ballerina. So, yeah.
Not familiar with this genre of ballerinas.
Right.
Is
But
that a lifter? Is that like one who
the
lifts
Performing
others?
Arts Center here is wonderful. We have great
Yes.
ballets,
Orchestras?
great orchestra, and a great scene. It's good stuff.
Don't disagree. I go to the ballet at least once a year.
It's very expensive, but I
Now I'm gonna have to go to an opera. Because
get them
my
from the
daughter's
radio
gonna be in
station.
one.
Really
Yeah.
at Kaufman.
No, probably at school.
Oh, okay. Ballerinas, good stuff. See, it's always a good pot if we get to talk about dance.
All right, so what did you
cross-
think of Felipe Hernandez taking a PK? I mean, that was kind of out of the ordinary.
Sorry, I'm still stuck on Cody. I feel like this is like a very shameless attempt to see if there are any ballerinas who listen to our podcast. Cody, are you? I don't know that there's a lot of crossover.
Tinder's not
Cody.
working, so this is what I'm trying now.
All right. Well, to our loyal listeners, if any of you are or know ballerinas who are interested in, this ginger who scores goals,
Devilishly handsome,
You can-
redheaded men.
you can slide into those DMs at that Cody though on Twitter.
There we go.
And hopefully he will all be warmed up by the time you would contact him.
Cody's off his game, though. He should have hit his button to announce his goal right when you said that, but he's off his game.
I didn't have it on what I have set up
okay.
right now.
It's the preseason for us too.
Final thoughts on the Sporting KC game? Anything we missed? Afrifa is getting in on the action. We think he's going to be good this year?
I think he's going to get some playing time.
Yeah, it looks like maybe he will.
On the wing, yeah.
Yeah. And that third goal I was mentioning, SKC2 came to the rescue. Ethan Bryant shot,
Right.
rebound, Seba Cruz put it in. Way to go, Seba. I really like that guy.
I liked Ethan Bryant, what I saw from him last year. I don't know if what his ceiling is as an MLS player, but I liked his game.
Some of his time with the first team looked really good. So,
Dare I say Jacob Peterson-esque?
no, more the control midfield kind of guy. I mean,
I was just thinking a gritty, grinded out kind of guy.
I think that's
And
more
also
of
they
the-
kind of look like just white guys with long hair.
I think that's more Seba Cruz kind of guy.
Okay.
Speed, work hard, outwork other people. Jake had a lot of skill coming out of school. He scored goals with the national team and stuff
Yeah,
like
he was
that.
rolling around with the top prospects for a while.
So, and Jake, you can contact us if we said anything bad about you.
So, Cody, this third goal, Sebastian Cruz, Zorhan Basong, and Marinos Janice. That's
Hell of a
trifecta of
names.
names right
Yes.
there. Yeah.
Yes, that's a good lineup right there. Thank you for that. All right, we'll take a quick break and be right back. All right. Very quick break this time. A lack of signings at this point in the preseason.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of roster spots left. There's not a lot of money left. But Vermes had talked at the end of last season and coming into the season that he wanted to improve the depth on the roster. We signed Zoran Basong and who's the other one? And Elenis Vargas from
Yep.
SKC2. I'm not sure that's really raising the level that we were looking for.
Yeah, it was kind of implying that the second and third strings would maybe get a bit stronger.
Yeah. The bottom of the roster, I think, is what he specifically said. Yeah.
Right. And I'm not sure that that's what's happened. And, I understand Basong is a stopgap until Ndembe's back from his ACL injury because, at left, when Ndembe's healthy, we're pretty well set at left back. But one of the things that stood out to me was Peter very recently talked about not going for a like-for-like replacement with Gadi Kinda, that they wanted to add a player in the midfield, but they didn't really know.
I almost took what he said as they are pleased enough with Erik Thommy or seen enough from Erik Thommy that they think they can survive at the number 10 or the center attacking mid, and they want to use resources somewhere else on the field.
Or spread that money around to a couple places.
Yeah, right.
And I got a lot of flack because I specifically asked him, are you intending to add a player before the season? And he said yes. So I tweeted out that you plan on adding a player before the season. So people kept, a player? I'm like,
Yeah, the quote was just Sporting KC is looking to bring in a player before the season starts. So, yeah, you can understand why everyone was like, yeah, we hope so. Breaking news.
Yeah, that's under the underwhelming portion, I think. Oh, great.
but he could have said, no, we're fine. So that was the news, was that they do intend to bring a player before the season.
And it seems to be that is in the 6 area as far as the part of the field goes from what we are going to talk about here in a little bit.
Where are you getting that?
From what we're going to talk about here next, Cody. Sorry, I was previewing your next section there.
Why don't you just bring us right into it?
Okay, well, Kellen Acosta is a rumored possible free agent that we're going after. We're in the mix with 2 other sides, Colorado and forgot who the other one was. Is it Chicago? Okay, so obviously that's a 6, could play 8, but I think maybe the idea here is Peter wants Remy in more of that 8 position and not be the 6 replacement if, Redoria goes out or whatever. And then, Memo Rodriguez.
Memo is on trial.
You can also play in that spot too. So it seems to be the trend where we're looking.
David, what do you think of Memo?
I mean, for a cheap roster guy, I mean, does he improve the bottom of the roster? I mean, probably better than Cam Duke.
Yeah, maybe.
But arguably better than Felipe Hernandez, maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't
similar.
know that he really moves the needle that much for me.
Is he better than the people that were let go?
It's experience. It's experience over the two names that you just said are wildly inexperienced. So there's an argument there.
But what troubled me about kind of Vermes' comments on the midfield was that he was talking about how there was really no urgency to bring somebody in. Oh, these things take a lot of time and this and that. You knew Gadi Kinda's contract was expiring, and Peter's the one doing the negotiating, right? He's at the time the director of football, whatever his formal title was before, chief soccer officer.
Yeah.
Whether this guy's going to re-sign with you or not. And if you know he's not, why isn't something in the hopper?
Well, you said two different things there. The contract is expiring.
Yeah.
You're trying to re-sign it. You don't know that he's not coming back.
Yeah, I mean...
Obviously, agreed. Hindsight, they messed up there. It looks like they messed up there. I'm just saying they didn't know he was not coming back. They may have tried very hard and at one point thought he would, and then...
I mean, I think you can generally suss things out as you're doing the negotiations, but...
I mean, you reported this like months ago.
Yeah.
Don't never forget. Everyone remember that.
But, it's one of those things that, as you see these negotiations playing out and as the contract's expiring, the idea that you don't have something queued up or, ready and willing to, that you don't have your target identified and you're not starting to have those conversations is, I think, problematic.
Oh, okay. If that's true, I agree. But, who says they didn't have a guy that they've identified and they're currently trying to sign him? I mean, and the thing you said about queued up, I don't know if anyone can ever have a guy just waiting at any moment. Oh, now we can pull the trigger and sign this guy. That's a little more difficult.
Because the only way you can do that is if you intend not to sign Gadi, and they wanted to bring Gadi back.
Yeah.
And I know that it's been reported for a while that he wasn't coming back, but I don't know that it was never 100% sure. So at what point did they say, oh, Gadi, I know it's like 70% you're going to leave, but we're just going to pull our offer now because just in case you did decide you wanted to stay, the guy that we know and is really coming back off the injury really well, and, was one of our best players in the last few games. Just needed a little better fitness. But, we just don't want you. We will go ahead and get a guy that we've never actually had in the team. We have to, get him familiarized with MLS and the other players.
Well, I was almost more talking about just you can't just, you've agreed on everything with this player, but it's like, well, hold on. Don't sign with anybody else. Just stay on deck for us in case this doesn't, that's a situation that doesn't really happen.
That happens all the time. That is a substantial number of Premier League signings are just like that, where you identify a player that you want, you reach out to the other team's sporting director or director of football ops or whatever you want to call it, and hey, we rate player X. What's your evaluation on him? What would it take? What kind of and you can start to have those negotiations without finalizing a deal,
right?
But
I'm saying this.
They're saying, but Peter's quote is Peter's statement, and I'm going to paraphrase it, is something. These things take a really long time, and they can. But if you have an idea that Gadi Kinda might not re-sign with you, to not have irons in the fire.
Maybe they do. How do you know they don't? That's my point.
Because we would have a player to replace him by now if that was true.
That's not necessarily true.
It would. Any team that has a good sporting director, that would be true. Because again, you follow the Premier League, I follow the Premier League. Clubs that have good sporting directors during transfer season, when the transfer window is open, are constantly linked to lots of different teams, are negotiating. And I'll give you the example of Fabio Paratici, who's the departed sporting director from Tottenham. We'd be in on multiple players at once, trying to see who are we going to get across the finish line, because we know that deals fall apart all the time and this and that and the other. But if you're not kind of doing this legwork ahead of time, you're doing it wrong.
This is Tottenham you're talking about?
Yeah. And so
where there's a lot more journalism and you get a lot more leaks and information that comes out.
Peter himself said these things take a really long time.
How does that mean we're not looking at any players?
It's not that we're not looking, because Peter also said that Brian Bliss has identified some people. But as the negotiations with Gadi went on, and let's say Gadi's your main guy because he's already in the team, he's already in the league, that's fine and dandy. But if you're not doing your due diligence and you're not starting to have the conversations with other clubs,
again, how do you know they're not? That's what.
Because if they were, we would already have a replacement.
That's not true.
Why?
They're still talking to this guy. I don't understand. Why is that such a crazy thing? I'm saying
they're still
deliberating. They're still talking to this guy.
When did the season end? What is taking so long? If they had already queued up exactly who their target was.
The players negotiating with other teams. Like, I don't understand. There's a million things.
There's a million possibilities. What do you think the most likely outcome is?
And
outcome is different.
Go ahead, Robert.
And the transfer window doesn't open until January 31st,
There it
correct?
is.
And most of the rest of the world are in the mid-season, so it's harder to get those players out of there. So if they were free agents because their contract was up, that would be a lot easier.
The point I was talking about
we
was
should be paying transfer fees.
when you said teed up, I don't, and then you told me that this is a common thing. It's not, where there's a player that teams want to sign, and one team is like, no, hold on, don't sign with someone else. That doesn't just to have them teed up.
It's irons in the fire. Like,
irons on the fire they could have. Irons on the fire is not the same as teed up. That's the point I'm making.
when did the season end? When did the regular season end last year? Or when did the playoff season
Do you want
end?
a day? I don't know. How is this?
No,
Well, on December 1st, Thad here wrote an article that Sporting had released essentially 3 midfielders: Cam Duke, Roger Espinosa, Felipe Gutierrez. So we've talked about replacing Gotti when we said he doesn't want to do a like for like. So we've been missing those 3 midfielders since December 1st. Before that, actually. That's a long time
I guess I
in
missed
soccer terms.
I guess I missed them saying they don't want a like for like for him, as opposed to just they're saying we think we think Erik Thommy is the guy and we're going to spend money elsewhere.
I don't remember the exact quote. I think that it was, Erik can be he's a 10/8, because we always talk about, the players are 8/10.
Yeah,
and
in this
more
system.
10/8. He said it himself, something like that. And maybe he's just trying to see if, Thommy is there, and then maybe he brings in somebody who can play multiple roles behind them. I don't know. I don't know exactly what he meant by some of that, and we can try to narrow him down on some of this stuff. It's just some of the questions we would have been asking, we didn't have availabilities, and then when we did have availabilities, there was way more controversial things.
Other things to talk about.
there's a lack of urgency, and the preseason started. So if you want to bring in a player who's not currently in the league, and especially a player who's not currently in the league, but a player who's not currently in the team, don't you want them in
Before the transfer window opens?
That's less actually worrisome. You can have a contract signed and they can be in preseason without the transfer window actually being open. You just can't finalize the contract or do the official transfer. Sorry, that does happen all the time. I mean, they've brought in players well before the transfer window around the league and with Sporting. So
I know, but
plenty of other
we're
teams are
sitting
making
here-
transfers. Other teams in this league have already made transfers.
But we're sitting here saying the fact that they haven't signed anyone indicates they weren't prepared in any way and aren't talking to anyone, is what it sounds like. And I'm just not on board with that. We don't know that at all.
Yeah, I don't think that they aren't looking or haven't been looking. And they might have 14 negotiations undergoing right now. We don't know that, because when we've tried to get Peter to say things like that, a long time ago he would, or actually Rob Heineman would leak a lot of those. Oh, we're in negotiation with these 3 players, and then none of them would come through, and everybody blame the team for not getting them. So Peter just doesn't let that out. They've also had some controversial complications the last couple of weeks over some of that stuff going on. So I don't know if that may have affected any of that, but they have in the past done this and had irons in the fire, had negotiations, maybe talking to 2-3 players, trying to figure out who they wanted to bring in or what money they could work out, what deal they could work out. And we don't know about it until it shows up or somebody overseas actually gets it leaked to them.
Yeah, and David, I'm sorry if I jumped at you there.
This is good radio.
What I was combating.
This is good radio.
What I was combating is just like, that's I don't know, just kind of the easy fan take you hear a lot. The fan with limited information. We haven't signed anyone yet. Why are they entirely unprepared? I don't know. It just seems like it's a very easy thing to say from a fan perspective, and I was just trying to offer more there.
They did very quickly go out and get at least a backup for left back.
Sure.
I don't know how good he is or how, if he can compete for the starting spot or any of that stuff. They also
He was in the re-entry draft.
But no.
Or waiver draft, or he was in the league already and he got cut.
He had been in the league. He went somewhere else, I thought, and then came back. But
Basong?
Yeah, I thought so. Anyway, he's somebody who they got in. And Vargas came in from the 2 team. he's somebody that I talked about last year probably will go up or had a very good chance of going up because of his speed and all that. So they did add at least some wing depth, if nothing else. Better perhaps than some of the other wing depth they had down the line there.
Yeah, I mean, it is frustrating, David, to look at the roster and say, okay,
Yeah.
we're pretty vanilla. We're the same team
Yeah.
we were last year, basically.
All that is fair. For
Other
sure.
teams have signed some good players, but at least we're not LAFC, who jettisoned like 16 players off the roster and haven't done anything in the offseason yet.
And some of those were players they had brought in for large money.
Yeah.
And they're like, yep, okay, that was a failure. That was a failure. That was a failure. The LAFC mystique may have failed there.
Yeah. Well, Boanga's still around. For how long, we'll see.
I do love watching Boanga. As much as I'd want to not like him and that team, very good player, fun to watch.
Now, if we're sitting here at the start of the season and they haven't brought in an additional player, I think the criticism is way more fair.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not fair now, but I think it becomes way more fair because we don't know what they're doing. We haven't had a chance to really press it. It's other controversial things have been going on, and the availability we've had lately has been on a Zoom after a game.
Not that we would have gotten a whole lot more out of
No,
Vermes or anyone anyway.
because he's been doing this long enough. He doesn't give away that information anymore because it builds up expectations that if he's like, oh yeah, I think we got a player that'll be coming in next week. Now, if he doesn't show up next week because that guy got a better offer, now he's going to be grilled and hey, well, he was like just misleading us.
Well, lost in this a little bit, in my opinion, is Erik Thommy. They're saying he's going to be our number 10, right? Is he good enough to be a number 10 for a club that is aspiring to be in the top of the Western Conference and, maybe get a home playoff game? 5 goals, 11 assists last year, but early on he was pressing too hard, trying to do too much because he thought the onus was on him. Mm-hmm. He got better as the season went when Gotti came back, etc. But is he the guy that's going to be that playmaker for us?
No, I've said this before, and I don't want to be labeled like an Erik Thommy hater. Like I like him. I like him on the team. I think if he was our number 10, I would be on board with that. But yeah, if we're looking at the roster right now without necessarily superstars everywhere else, I don't think that midfield looks like midfields around the league that are going to be at the top of the table, I guess.
Well, and I was fine with Thommy starting at the 10 that we don't use, at the more attacking 8.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
When Gotti was also on the field.
Right.
Or like on the team, or vice versa, because what really differentiates, and again, this goes back to Vermes said he wanted to elevate the bottom of the roster. Other teams around the league have difference makers off the bench. And as much as St. Louis, I hate them, they were able to bring some dudes off the bench who could make an impact. When Gotti was coming off the bench, Erik Thommy could run himself ragged for 60 minutes, and then Gotti would come off the bench for the last 30, and he was so dynamic and so explosive and very different, and he would change the game. Or vice versa, that you get Gotti running at a breakneck pace for 60 minutes, and then all of a sudden Erik Thommy is offering something very different. So by losing, it's not a matter of is Erik Thommy good enough to be the starting 10, it's who do we have that bring in off the bench to allow Thommy to play at his best for 2/3 of a game?
Absolutely no one.
Nobody.
Right.
That's the answer.
And that's my problem with where we are so far in the offseason. Is that, and for the record, when we signed Polita and Kinda in that offseason, we got Polito in December and we signed Kinda we signed him on like January 20th. So we got them in. And if you remember, they started the season really strong before COVID shut everything down, but they were explosive to start the year because they'd already bedded in with the team.
Now, I'm going to get criticized, of course, for saying this again, but what you get with Sporting is pretty much a vanilla lineup. You don't get any major standouts. It's the team is the star, the system, if you will, is the star. And if we get enough improvement from Jake Davis on the attacking end, coming up the right side, left side, somebody steps up in Logan's absence, the system works. It does. And as long as we have Agata and Allen putting goals in the back of the net when they get chances, we're going to be okay. I think we know that. But I still want more. I still want us to have that flexibility David's talking about. I still want us to have more firepower to get us to where we want to get.
Don't get me wrong. I would like a explosive goal scoring midfielder who could set guys up and stuff.
Yeah.
Also,
You would? Are you sure about that?
yeah, I kind of enjoy that sort of thing. But we do have at least again, Vargas has speed. Afrifa has speed.
That's the one thing we've added. That's good.
Both of those guys appear to be going wing. Shallowy has a knock now and will be rested at least through the first half of the preseason. Johnny was at least halfway looking good apparently in this preseason, but he's old and can't take all the minutes. So there is at least some speed there. We'll have to see. And then Polito also hasn't been at 100%, but they're kind of protecting those older guys right now.
All right, hot take. We're depending on Johnny's to raise the level of his game far above where he's been for the season to be a success. There you go.
At the moment, yeah. Like at the moment, I think we are.
Can Benny Feilhaber come out of retirement?
Oh, your lips to God's ears.
He could probably give us 5 minutes.
I don't think he could.
5-minute Benny would be
with
great.
with how much he hates to run, I don't know. I think one trip down the pitch and he'd be gassed.
Who said he would
Give
go
him a
back?
lawn chair and he'll pick his moments.
Who said he would return on defense?
David, you mentioned St. Louis earlier, and it reminded me about Giacchini for them. How stupid is it? They just got to steal that player. He played for them for one season, and then they get to sell him for millions of dollars. How stupid is that?
Oh, the Kansas City guy? Oh.
Yes, I love him. I love him as a player. It's just the MLS mechanism of you literally got to steal him from another team through no effort of your own, and then you get to sell the guy for millions of dollars.
It's also, where was he at before? Was it
Orlando?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't standout there, so I mean, they left him
I know.
unprotected.
I know.
So they did do at least something to help him be better, but
No, they picked his name out of a list of a bunch of names is what they did.
they did. But he wasn't great there, so they helped him to be better. Maybe just giving him playing time. I don't know.
I hear a guy named Gianluca Busio, maybe you guys have heard the name, is doing pretty well at some team across the seas. I don't know.
3 games in a row in Serie B he has scored.
Yeah, and I think a goal assist and then maybe the game before that. So he's been doing really well.
Happy to see Boost doing it. And he's still doing it in those cool jerseys for Venezia. They have cool jerseys still.
Did you see the replay from the goal today?
Yeah.
No, did you really?
No.
Because nobody can.
No, I did not. Because it's Serie B.
Well, no,
I think it was good for him to be there, but we need them to get promoted so we can watch them again.
You do need to find the. There's a tweet with the goal.
Oh, there is.
Yeah,
Hey, he's just blocked, you're saying?
I will. You know how it's been foggy the last couple days?
Last week?
Yeah. So yeah, you can't see anything in the video.
Wow. I'll go look for it. Okay, one more break and then we'll be right back. Thad, Felipe retired.
He did.
Was he I think we said at one point on the show he was the greatest to wear the shirt.
I think people have said that. Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Has Polito dethroned him?
Yeah.
Brecky?
No.
Like,
Come on. Brecky? Anyone? Come on.
Yeah, but
for longevity and like what he did for the team, yes, for sure. But I'm just saying, like, the highest quality of a player to wear the shirt.
those are really hard decisions.
It is, of course.
Because
It's a stupid sports talk radio discussion I'm trying to have here.
I know, and I get it. But to Robert's point, Preki was one of the best players in MLS, and he was a EPL player. Well, before they were EPL, but he was an indoor player. He was always just special and one of the best players anywhere he went. And Felipe is played at a really high level in multiple places. So I mean, it's like it's an apple and orange kind of thing for me. I don't know if he can say that, but I know.
Let's just call it Polito. Let's just say the best to ever wear the shirt is still on the team. Let's just say that.
Jake Davis.
Been injured for a year and a half.
After he sets the record in goals this year, we can say that with a straight face.
I mean, I think Preki, Polito, and Felipe are probably the three in the conversation. As much as I love Benny, and
I was going to say, what about Benny? If you're
Benny
gonna
had a
say that
couple
one.
really special seasons, but
yeah.
But the question is, at their best, right? Because Felipe's career with Sporting got cut short. Polito's had injuries, but peak Polito with this team is elite. Peak Felipe, I mean, I don't know. You got to really go back and think about what he was
Yeah.
when he came into the club. He was a beast.
There are times just the engine going forward was everything.
I mean, he could win the ball. He was scoring goals. He was setting up assists. I mean, he was a monster. And so that's why I'm the one who said, you know, other than peak Polito, he might be the best to have ever worn the shirt.
Yeah.
He was great.
Somewhere in the mix, number 4, number 5.
And now we're getting the video of that goal. It's hilarious that is even being broadcast. Foggy screen, can't see anything. Oh, behind the goal you get a little something, I guess. But
You get the goalie not seeing the ball until it goes past him. But you can see like a blur of players moving out there.
I do see that they're playing with the highlighter ball at least, so that's good. The league
So
move to that.
Cody will link the tweet into the pod post so that it can be seen.
Making more work for me. All right, I guess I could probably do that.
Yeah, I will find it for you, Cody. I will help you out.
So, EAFC leaked most of the new MLS kits today. What do we think of Sporting's? Again, we're not confirming nor denying the legitimacy of this. Could, of course, still not be real. Seems like it's pretty legit, though.
Can I add something?
Yes, go ahead.
A couple of weeks ago, I saw a picture of a jersey that I was told was the jersey. It was a bad picture. So I always hesitate to like leak those like terrible photos because people will, oh, it looks terrible, and just because it's a bad photo. Because I would like to give the team at least an opportunity to make their splash with how they want to do it.
And for us to record our jersey,
I don't want to piss off Chad.
our kit release pod.
I don't want to piss off the jersey guys. So
Yeah,
I would
I
hesitate
feel
to do
really
that.
bad for them. There's so much work that has gone down the drain.
Yeah,
But
Chad
I
and
will
Thomas put
say-
in so much effort.
And not just them, like it's all around the league. Like there's like 15 teams.
Well, some of these clubs mail it in.
yeah, that's very
I'll
true.
give
Very true.
Chad and Thomas work their asses off.
Yes, and if you have not
Some of these other
listened,
guys.
listen to those. Go watch our kit release. Listen to our kit release episodes. Those are some of our favorites, and you will hear how and why they are better than most around the league.
But I will say that this does resemble the image that I saw of a photo of a jersey that was supposed to be-
Resemble. Okay.
Okay, I would have
Very
set you
closely.
up for that. I was
Good word
assuming,
choice.
I was assuming you didn't want to divulge that on the show that you had seen something.
I wasn't going to originally. Like again, I wasn't going to like leak it or anything. It
But
was
still,
just
again, we are not confirming, so we don't know. So we're excited to have Chad on and show us the New Jersey when the time comes.
yes, and the details and all that sort of thing.
What are some of these leaks that you like, David?
My favorite's the NYC FC one.
Yeah,
Black with orange and blue. It's like a very New York City.
I do really like the
Kit.
black. I love black kits, man.
I think the New York Red Bull kit is so hideous. I love it. It's like red with like these black zigzags all over it. But
Good description. It's busy, very busy.
I as said before we started recording, it's like somebody slammed a sixer of Red Bull and then decided to like draw like straight like pinstripes down the jersey,
Yeah.
and then like that's what it looks like. And
Yeah.
it's nothing reflects Red Bull soccer more than this kit.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's part of the game. It's just
so
a tactic.
chaotic.
Disorient you, and yeah.
Nashville and Club de Foot Montreal.
The Foot Club has my favorite. Honestly, I think it might be my favorite on these leagues. I really like it.
Those are clean. Charlotte's isn't bad. Tough to tell what's happening with Orlando. You know.
Seattle has a 50-year anniversary kit.
Oh, is that why it looks so shitty?
Is that why it's like? No, I don't know. It seems
It's like a
little,
rugby jersey.
They normally, besides the highlighter green, like they normally do pretty well with their jerseys, and I'm not that big on the pinstripes that they've got going on. Thad, what do you like or what do you not like from these leaks?
I do like the Sporting one.
Yeah, I do too. I guess I haven't said that yet. I'm worried it'll be another one of those, just like the State Line one, where you can't see that faint black diamonds on there on the broadcast. It might just be like another dark blue shirt, but I do like it a lot.
I do like the Philly one. I know some people hate the Salt Lake one, but it reminds me of Barca, so I don't mind
Show
it.
me the Salt Lake one really quick. Oh yeah, I kind of like it.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, it's not like one I would like just fall in love with. And there's
They're trying to
very-
replicate mountains there. I guess it works.
Well, is
Yeah.
that what Charlotte's almost looks like? It's mountain varying heights of mountains. I don't know what it is, but I like
oceany.
it. Oceany. Okay, yeah.
Waves.
Maybe. Waves and
Charlotte's is
sky.
cool.
Yeah, I like Charlotte's.
It's okay. I'm not really.
It is very funny that this has happened, and it's on it's just on the thing where you can buy it's just such a stupid random little thing that that leaked and made such a massive problem for so many people around the league. It's a very funny mistake.
What's up with Philly trying to steal Sporting's MO here?
The glitch.
Oh yeah. If they're doing a glitch jersey, honestly, that glitch jersey is probably better than the one that we did.
Oh, the tire tread jersey.
Tire tread is what I call that.
We just got run over that
It looks
year.
like they got ran over by a tire. Okay, that's pretty good. And yeah, at the right light, you can see those diamonds,
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
gonna
gonna
get
be.
Yeah.
the same thing that the state line one got.
I'm showing them the leaked photo that I came across. Well, actually, somebody else sent it to me.
That I
and-
came across.
No, somebody sent it to me. I'm not wanting to divulge who sent it to me unless they want it to be divulged.
We
So
protect our sources.
There have
here.
been other kits that have been leaked, just not through
Yeah.
what used to be known as FIFA.
Yeah.
Um,
Footy headlines.
yeah, have you seen the Portland ones?
No.
Portland has a wild design. If this is true,
I like when teams get weird. Ooh, I actually.
it's
did
like
that.
a cream base with like what looks like the woods all along the sides and the armpits,
pine.
pine trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually really like that. What's DeBella? What's their sponsor?
is it scented? Like pine
It
scent?
looks like I can
It would be great if it was.
I can smell this jersey.
That's hilarious.
Inter Miami
Yeah, I saw that.
got leaked.
They-
Cody's
Do
wearing
they not
his
have a sponsor?
boys Schmedium already messy kit.
Does Miami not have a sponsor, or was that
I think the sponsors
Picture.
The
the,
big sponsor logo there.
the logo.
Oh,
It's,
that's good.
is that
You get a-
Royal Caribbean? I don't know who's.
You get a sponsor that just lets you put a little logo like that with no words. That's good stuff.
I mean, didn't Chelsea have the number 3 on their kits?
Oh
for,
yeah,
like-
and Target for Minnesota. They just have the Target on
Oh,
the
yeah.
front.
I mean, how do you think Yeti feels about Austin's design? Are they embarrassed to be on that shirt?
I don't hate that as much as other people do.
All right.
LAFCs, I'm not a fan of.
The Austin ones in particular, more so than other jerseys, it looks like it's a Yeti shirt. Like it looks like you're an employee of Yeti if you're wearing that because it's so big.
I can see that.
I was thinking it just looks like a baseball jersey. They should just make it 3/4 length sleeve and go with it.
Yeah,
That would be awesome.
I think I like that LAFC one.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's better pinstripes than the Seattle.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I like it. I think it's all right.
Yeah.
Just the color, the yellow color in there, I don't like. I think.
Here's the thing for me is like, and Chad and Thomas will talk about this when we inevitably talk to them. Hopefully talk to them. Is that Sporting has a brand and identity, and they frequently incorporate that. Like the state line thing has become like a trend for them, or incorporating certain patterns. Like Argyle is a brand, is part of the brand for Sporting, and then you look at some of these other clubs and like. There's nothing to like Red Bull doesn't have a consistent thing. There's no thread that goes through every kit, every release.
That's
it's just
why-
kind of like whatever they thought looked cool that year.
That's why Chad and Thomas are better than
Yeah.
most because they're planning this out years in advance, and
Even
they
if you
do
don't
have
like
that
everything
idea.
that they put out, there and the third one is the
There's a
hoops.
vision and a plan, and
So hoops,
Yeah.
Argyle, and state line motifs are in those.
yeah.
and
kits.
you know, that's one of the things I like about. I think NYCFC does a good job every year. It's authentically and consistently New York.
That's true. That's true.
And you know, LA, like their kit, the leaked kit has a sash. LA Galaxy frequently have a sash. Like it's your identity. And then you see some of these, and it's just, you know, if your second kit's weird, cool. Like
Well,
do
you
your
gotta
thing.
some of these teams you got to give a break. Like Charlotte, they're still a new team. Like
Yeah.
let them
Sure.
build some history and make something that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. But like Austin, this is terrible.
Well, also a new team, but yeah, that's fair. And again, I don't hate it that much, but they just cheat because it's such a good green. Like that is such a good green.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I used to like the highlighter green of Seattle, begrudgingly, but no, the green of Austin is so much better.
I think I like the old Portland green better of any of the
darker.
greens.
Yeah, forest green.
Yeah.
But that's just I've none of those colors just really stood out for me. So
Green's my fave. Green and blue.
I like
David,
the
what's your
Portland
favorite
red.
color?
Portland red, I thought was pretty nice.
What's your favorite color, David?
It's a tie between crimson and blue, even though my Jayhawks constantly let me down this year.
Yeah, not a good game today.
No, but I still love them. Crimson and blue, but mostly blue.
KU
Sometimes sporting blue, sometimes KU blue. It depends on the season.
blue.
Blue's your fave?
This is a good podcast. What's your favorite number?
2 and 8.
2 and 8.
8 because it looks awesome and it's like infinity. And 2, it's just a good number. It was my number in sports.
Yours,
7.
Robert,
Lame.
I like 11.
22.
Hey, 2 2s.
Okay. So do we want to talk about Vlatko or Germany?
I wanted the
What's your
number
favorite
conversation.
slow dance song?
I was thinking, I was thinking of another really stupid question. Like, what book would you bring on an island? No, let's talk about the Germany thing, because I have a question about it. It's there's a quote from one of the leaders of the 2026 bid, or the organizers of this, that said they gave good reason to believe that Germany is interested in basing their World Cup operations here. But Thad, my question is, I don't. Can they just do that already? Like, is it based on where they're going to be playing their games in the group? Like, they would do it here even if they get based in New York, or even if they play their group stage games in New York?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, I don't know why not. I mean, there's different ways to look at this. A base camp, you might be traveling to different places to play. So, like, yeah, you might have a game in New York, and you might have a game in Chicago, or not Chicago, but Kansas City or somewhere else. You might have 3 different places to play, but it's centrally located.
Yeah.
But it's also the month lead up to it, where they come in and they train, get acclimated, get used to the time zone. They play a couple friendlies, that sort of thing. So this is a good place for that, because it is kind of centrally located. So you might get more teams declaring where they're going to go once all that's picked, which is next.
Yeah, here very soon. Well, and also Germany, like in particular, they're planning for beyond the group stage. So being central in the middle of the country makes a lot of sense for them.
Well, and the group, regardless of what group they're in, they'll play all over the country, right? I mean, like
so the group stage games are not in one. No, that's not.
No,
because
if you remember, like the World Cup in Brazil 2014, the U.S. was like all over the place. Like they put so many miles on. They had to play a game in the Amazon.
Yeah.
They played in Manaus, and I mean that was like, I remember the game against Portugal. It was like a hell of a travel.
When Matt Biesler stepped over Cristiano Ronaldo.
And so, I think it's smart if a team wants to base themselves in Kansas City, because what you don't want is to fly from New York to California and back, and so. Maybe they have no games here, but it's an easier flight from Kansas City to San Francisco.
You're
Kansas
never
City,
flying longer than 3.5 or 3 hours or whatever. So.
Right.
And Missouri is a good German state.
Yeah, you can go to, the name of that city just fell out of my head. Middle of Missouri. Herman,
yeah.
Missouri.
I don't think they're going to be doing that.
I don't think they would need to go there to get German food.
Right, exactly.
They might bring
But
their
it
own
still
wine
is a
into
good
beer.
German state. A lot of Germans.
But the Hermans will come out to Pinnacle.
There'll be a
Very
gathering of the
exciting.
Hermans.
Since we've been doing a lot of random conversation here, I had my sociology teacher in college
How long ago was this?
wrote his dissertation
How old are you?
on Herman. I'm 34. Thanks, David.
dissertation.
Is that the right word, or is that a high school paper? No,
Oh
dissertation.
no, you're
is the
right. I'm
college
just
one.
saying on Herman. Okay.
And so every day in this class, he had something to say about Herman, Missouri. He was so fascinated by this, and it is actually a really interesting story how they all just decided to land here, like just in this one little hole in the middle of the country. It is an interesting thing.
There's a lot of Germans, like Robert said, in Missouri, the farmers and stuff. Like where I grew up outside of St. Louis, almost every name in the farming community was a German name: Steinhoff, Weber, Schmidt, that sort of thing.
My
Correct.
mother's maiden name is Stoner, and they changed it from Steiner because Germans were not looked on that
They
great.
do it
What
on
was-
420.
What was your first pet's name?
Kramer.
Okay.
Kramer.
And then
All
the
right.
next one was Cosmo.
There we
Okay.
go.
And what was your first car?
These are all the security questions for your bank account, Cody.
I've never chosen my first pets as those, but
I was going to go through the whole list.
Your high school?
Yeah, what street did you grow up on?
I knew I just needed to stop until I get to one that I actually use as one of those questions.
You never forget your first, Cody, did you?
Oh, God.
Anyway,
I just thought it was funny that she could reliably say that they've been reliably told that they may be using Kansas City.
yeah. So anyway, back to Herman, Missouri. Oh, sorry. We're on to something
back
else.
to soccer.
Yeah. Okay. I'm here for that. That would be cool. I would like to go see some trainings of that German machine. The efficient team that they have would be very cool to see them training.
It would be.
Are they going to be any good?
I don't know. Germany's always good.
Are they?
Probably.
They're not going to be bad.
Are they?
They would probably make it out of the group stage.
Maybe.
I mean, there's never a certainty, but
They will feel terrible about themselves if they don't get out of the group stage.
Aren't they? Didn't they just finish? Like they're at the end of a cycle of players. Like they're aging out.
Yeah, probably.
they were bad in some recent stuff because they fired the first time they ever fired a coach was like last year. So yeah, I mean they have been bad. It's just that they are reliably, consistently good over time. So.
Sure, but like Thomas Muller's aging out. Gundogan's aging out. There's some.
Oh, no, it's Polish. Never mind.
You know, Mats Hummels.
Yeah.
Is aging out, and I think I am just kind of going off memory. I think have been less than great at the last few international tournaments.
Yeah.
Klopp will take them over and they'll win the whole thing.
Maybe that's the plan.
Maybe.
Or Klinsmann. Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh, Lord. Yes, that's what we want. Klinsmann in charge of Germany. Let them go down in flames.
All I want before I die is Klinsmann on the touchline across from Benny. That's all I need in my life.
That would be so much fun.
The NWSL schedule came out this week. We've got the home opener in the new stadium for the Current is all set. And as much as excitement that there is around that new stadium and soccer starting all again, and Sporting KC were having such a rough off-season, it seemed like the Current were just poised to slide in here and just do the basic things right and look like the heroes. But then why are we also upset with the Current? It seems like they've also messed up a little bit this offseason.
They have built a reputation, whether it's completely deserved or not, of not treating their players correctly, especially when it comes in regard to trades.
And their exits.
Yes. So I think it's somewhat deserved, but I think it's not as bad as what people take it to be, but that's just my point of view. So,
Well, the name is escaping me right now, but there was a change in some leadership there. Do you think that's in response to this? Like, this was the person that was maybe not handling this right?
well, Vlatko Ananovsky came in as the head coach and sporting director. Camille Ashton has been the GM for 2 years now.
I thought someone was stepping down. Did I dream this? I must have dreamed this.
The president of the team became a advisor to the board, and they named a new president. But that's
Yes.
really not on the soccer side.
Okay, well, I feel like you should have known what I was going for there. Help me out a little bit.
I didn't know where you were going for, and I did help you out because I
Well,
told
but so
you.
that's the president, right? The buck stops there, right? Or is that not? So you don't think that had anything to do with any?
Well, just like I don't blame Jake Reed for whether or not
Right.
Peter Vermes gets a player in, but then I don't blame Peter Vermes for having bad hot dogs in the
I'm not
stands.
saying blame. I'm not saying you're blaming. I'm saying is that what this was in response to?
No.
Okay, took forever to get to there, but I'm glad we finally got there.
The food does suck though.
Where?
That's Sporting.
Oh,
No, the current
I was
have
like,
got
they've
it
been
figured
working
out.
really hard on that.
The current seemingly have it figured out.
Seemingly, yeah, seemingly.
Seemingly have it figured out.
Yeah, we'll see. That's an interesting thing. They have all these good restaurants, but it's like the restaurants aren't the ones that will be serving that food. It's still going to go through these representatives of whatever concession company that they hire, right?
I don't know. That's actually a good question.
My understanding is that's how this will go. Like they don't send their employees there. They figure out some system of what they send from there and how these people in the stadium reheat it or whatever is like kind of...
Or whatever charitable organization is trying to raise money that night.
Yeah.
Has never done any food work.
So it is, I applaud them for doing what they're doing. It's shaping up to be pretty nice, and I'm excited to try it. There's some hesitancy I have for it.
Yeah, and that's a really good question, Cody. I don't know the answer to that, as if they're going to have some food service company doing all the cooking and all that stuff, or how that exactly will work. But that has been my experience in the past, is when the food service low common denominator salary people are doing that work, the quality sometimes goes way down.
Okay.
But that doesn't go back to the players being talked to.
Yeah, what is the issue? Is it multiple people? Is it a club environment that is leading to this kind of repeated issue of when players are leaving us, that it's done in not the best way?
I think I'm gonna touch on 3 of the cases really quick. Lynn Williams at not this draft, but the draft the year before, was contacted and said, we might want to make a trade, and would you be okay with it? And she said no, and then called back a little bit later and said, yeah, screw it. If you don't want me, trade me. Well, she put out a tweet and about how she was, I don't remember the exact words, but she was surprised that they were going to trade her because she was a national team player, had been, missing for a year essentially with injury, was about to come back and all that stuff, and then they want to trade her. So that was one. This year, Alex Loretta was supposedly surprised that she was being traded to Bay FC rather, and Bay was trying really hard to get her, and money and everything else, and I think there was a lot of complications in there, but eventually Kansas City said, yes, we'll trade her. And then the most recent one was CC Kaiser, Kansas City player. She grew up in Kansas City. Had asked to be traded from Louisville to Kansas City so she could be home.
Yeah.
And she was blindsided that happened when they traded her for Nichelle Prince from Houston.
Yeah, that one's sad. I love her game. She's really fun to watch.
And, yeah, I like her, and it's going to be sad that there's not actually a Kansas City player on the team when they open the stadium next year.
Yeah.
But I think in each one of these instances, from things I've gathered from behind the scenes, there's multiple factors to all of this. So it's not just one thing. Now, maybe they could have communicated better, but I think some of it is just that the players themselves expected to be here, and when they were told they were being traded, they were blindsided.
Yeah. Well, what's the fix? Whose fault is it?
I think in the next couple of years, you're going to have the NWSL CBA basically say players can't be traded without their permission.
Oh, wow.
I do think that's going to be coming.
Specifically for that league?
Specifically for the NWSL.
Let me just clarify. That's not a thing for other leagues, right? Like in other leagues, you just get traded and you don't have, I think sometimes it's in contracts you can first right a refusal and all that, but flatly throughout the league, I don't know that's not a common thing, right?
But if you look at most leagues in Europe, there's no trades. You rarely see, hey, they sent Smith for Jones and 5 bags of balls, right?
Well, it's trades just for money instead of another player.
Well, but the player usually has to agree to terms with their new club.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's not really a trade without, because,
their consent in some way, shape, or
they-
form.
because
I'm
they don't-
thinking
they don't-
baseball and football, right?
Yeah.
A baseball, Royals can trade this guy to Cincinnati whenever
unless
they
he has a no trade clause.
want. Right. But not just a flat thing across the league. So if you're sensing some confusion here behind the scenes, it's because Robert's trying to leave us early. We only have 1 minute left here, but Robert needed to unplug all of his things.
Robert's going to the Capitol Grill tonight, and so he's going to go put on his nice stretchy pants. Fancy enough for the Capitol Grill, but with room to grow for that 42-ounce porterhouse.
Capitol
black
Grill
bow tie?
tonight, huh?
Yeah.
Will you be wearing a bow tie this time?
No, sir.
No sir on the
Wait. You can't speak. You don't have a microphone.
Is Robert getting the chicken?
I heard it.
No, I think I'm going to go full bore.
He's gonna get the boar.
He's getting the
Okay,
boar.
I see.
I haven't been to the Capitol Grill in some time. I'm a public
tonight.
servant, but I don't think they serve boar. At least not the last time I was there.
Have you ever had boar?
Yeah, delicious.
Yeah.
Chains.
Is there any meat you want to
Find
eat
it-
that you haven't ate?
Find a non-chain, Robert.
Ostrich.
Go somewhere that's not a chain.
It's not bad.
I like alligator.
Big
No,
chicken.
Capitol Grill is
Yeah,
good, though.
alligator's good. Shark, snake.
Okay,
Octopus,
you guys continue this
squid.
conversation. I'm just gonna fade you both out.
It's
I've tried some of those. I'm not super interested in eating a snake.